final Monday in the month of June, and we're technically wrapping up the second quarter of the year. Welcome to Business Morning this Monday, the 25th of June. I am Bosin We're live to you from Lagos, Nigeria's economic and financial capital. Let's put some politics into business and markets this morning. And let's start with what is just coming in from the Brookings Institute. Nigeria now overtaking India as the world's with the largest population of poor people. Now that's the latest report just coming in. The report we just getting says Nigeria has already overtaken India as the world's largest number of extreme poor people in early 2018. And the Democratic Republic of Congo, or the DRC, will soon take over the #2 spot. At the end of May 2018, our trajectories suggest that Nigeria had about 87 million people in extreme poverty, compared with India's 73 million. Second paragraph of that report says, what is more, extreme poverty in Nigeria is growing by 6 people every minute. Let's hang it there. Let's move on to what's the big news over the weekend. Nigeria's ruling party, All Progressive Congress, elects new leadership team 9 months to party's first general transition election, looking to retain governance. The vice president, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, had a few words to say at the inauguration of the new leadership. He says, quote, "We have worked hard in the past 3 years, despite the challenging circumstances that we inherited and the absolute blight of the last 5 years, to resolve the issues in these areas. Now, on every front, the light is appearing at the end of the tunnel." The vice president's speech says, our great party, the APC, was given the unequivocal mandate of the Nigerian people to govern along the lines of the social democratic principles espoused in our manifesto. We have been resolutely faithful to that mandate. The VP says during the campaigns in 2015 and since then outlined the issues central to realizing our desire to upturn the pyramid, that the majority are able to earn enough to live decently. The vice president says one of the objectives of the APC is that Nigerians should have access to free education and health care for themselves and their children, and be provided the opportunities for prosperity as entrepreneurs and business owners. The vice president went on to conclude that the common man, those that are at the bottom of the pyramid, the millions who have been left behind, have remained the reason and rationale for our aspiration to the leadership of our nation. That's according to the APC, the vice president today speaking at the weekend. What's making the headlines this week on the markets and business front? The debt office will be reopening 3 dated Naira bonds of 60 billion Naira in total for the June auction. That's expected on Wednesday, the 27th. Meantime, business lawyers are holding a conference in Abuja to discuss Nigeria in intra-Africa trade. That's expected to be on tap tomorrow, Tuesday, the 26th. Meantime, on Thursday, the Vice President, Yemi Osinbajo, will be hosting this month's MSME's clinic in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital. And if you're interested in the world of exchange-traded funds, the US SEC is holding a crucial meeting this week to consider the easing of regulations involved in launching new exchange-traded funds that could bring the cost of ETFs on the US market below the current levels. And that's making headlines this week if you are trading the global marketplace. And this week, we're expecting the Lord Mayor of London in the city of Lagos, joined by the Minister of Trade, to hold a conference on Nigeria-UK trade economic relations. That's also on Thursday, the 28th. On Friday, the Nigerian Stock Exchange rolled out a new market structures that revise the market structures covering equities, ETFs, and bonds, or what you call the fixed income. Those new structures will be effective July the 2nd. The stock exchange says the market structure includes regulatory and technological changes in order to drive a more competitive market. So the stock exchange is looking to a level playing field for all market participants and allows for deploying new strategies. The hybrid nature of the market, according to the NSE's statement, will facilitate reduced spreads, best execution, and boost liquidity. So what's new? The stock exchange has now introduced what you call the pre-opening and pre-closing auctions with what you call the imbalance sessions to achieve efficient price-setting mechanism. For exchange-traded funds, the equity ETFs on the exchange will now mirror the equity market structure, 10% for entire trading session. You can move prices up or down, just 10% only within the trading session. That's what NULD stands for. The fixed income ETFs will have no limit to the limit up and limit down in terms of pricing, while the commodity and currency ETFs and other underlying structures will also have no limit. I will spend time during the rest of the week to get you up to understand those new market structures that the stock exchange introduced. But let's check through. We're finishing the month of June this week. We're finishing the second quarter, and we'll be closing the window on the first half of the year. Eromosele Aziba, one of the investment analysts at AfroInvest, is live here in the studio to kick off our trading day and the trading week. Good morning.
Good morning.
It's good to have you here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Look at the market for us, and we're looking at there's a new selling pressures on the exchange. We thought this was all over. Now we are technically all in the red, month to date, year to date. Not significantly, but at least we're now making much progress as we thought. Where is this selling pressure coming from? What's the kicker here for these risky assets?
Yes, thank you once again, boss. And so since the massive rally that we saw in January, which was basically a continuation of positive performance from 2017, we've seen a lot of investors take profit significantly in the market. And this has been sustained to the point where it can even now be viewed as sell-offs in the market. So in terms of looking at some of the possible drags that we've seen in the market, a lot of activities going on in the global markets have also had a feedback impact on markets with higher rates from the U.S. Fed as well. We've started to see some sort of capital flow reversal from emerging markets, and this has also impacted on market performance, because if you even drill down to participation in our domestic equities market, where we've seen historically, in periods when the market does significantly well, you have more foreign participants in the market. But for a greater part of this first half of the year, we've seen domestic investors dominate the market.